She reported her husband missing on a Friday. She filed for divorce on Saturday. Before his body was even found, she wrote it was time to move on. This is the story of the airman who never deserted, and the wife who made sure he'd never be found. In January 2005, Air Force Staff Sergeant Michael Severance prepared for a trip that would finally bring his wife Wendy and their 2 young sons to his hometown in rural Maine. His family had never met her. They had never held their grandchildren. Michael had served 5 deployments, 3 in war zones, and had never wavered in his duty. He was a respected C-130 crew chief stationed at Dyess Air Force Base in Texas. The homecoming he had dreamed of for years was supposed to be the happiest moment of his life. But the trip never happened. Instead, Wendy walked into an Air Force office and reported Michael missing. She told officials he had deserted his post out of fear. She claimed he fled to Canada because he could not face another deployment. The story seemed plausible at first. Combat veterans sometimes break under pressure. But everyone who knew Michael rejected the idea immediately. He had survived war zones. He had lost friends. He had never run from anything in his entire life. Michael grew up in rural Maine, remembered as hardworking and deeply devoted to his family. He joined the Air Force and became a crew chief, earning respect through dedication and precision. In 2003, he met Wendy Davidson while line dancing in Texas. She was ambitious, having graduated near the top of her class and earned her veterinary license. They fell in love quickly, had a son, and married in 2004. They lived behind her veterinary clinic with Wendy's parents closely involved. When Michael disappeared, local police and the Air Force launched investigations. Because Wendy claimed desertion, the Air Force Office of Special Investigations opened its own case. This decision proved critical. Investigators placed a GPS tracker on Wendy's vehicle. The device repeatedly showed her visiting a secluded ranch where she kept a horse. Meanwhile, her computer searches revealed troubling queries about polygraph tests and how bodies decompose underwater. Investigators grew increasingly suspicious of her behavior. When questioned about the ranch, Wendy became defensive and uncooperative. Police intercepted her attempting to enter the property while officers prepared to search it. Then her own brother contacted authorities, stating he believed Michael's body might be in one of the ranch's ponds. Officers reportedly overheard Wendy tell her parents, "I didn't kill him, but somebody did. I thought one of you did it, so I moved the body to protect you." Investigators searched the pond and discovered Michael's body submerged beneath 145 pounds of cinder blocks, a boat anchor, a brake drum, rocks, ropes, fish line, and zip ties. Toxicology tests revealed large amounts of pentobarbital and phenobarbital, drugs veterinarians use to euthanize animals. Multiple stab wounds on Michael's body had likely been inflicted after death, not to kill him, but to release decomposition gases and prevent the body from floating to the surface. The evidence against Wendy continued to accumulate. She had filed for divorce the day after reporting Michael missing. Before his body was even recovered, she wrote that it was time to move on with her life. Authorities charged her with murder and evidence tampering. Rather than face a trial, she entered a no-contest plea. In 2006, she received a 25-year prison sentence for murder, with additional concurrent sentences for tampering with evidence. Her veterinary license was automatically revoked. Wendy appealed her conviction, arguing that the GPS tracker had been used illegally. The court ruled against her, stating that the Air Force had every right to investigate because Wendy herself had claimed Michael deserted military service. The false story she created to divert suspicion was exactly what gave military investigators the authority that ultimately led them to Michael's body. Her own lie became the instrument of her undoing in one of the most ironic turns in criminal justice. Over the following years, Wendy repeatedly sought more contact with her sons from prison. Courts denied those requests, finding the boys were thriving under the care of Wendy's parents and that additional contact was not in their best interests. Michael's family chose to honor his memory by establishing an annual scholarship in his name for students pursuing technical careers, reflecting his lifelong passion for working with his hands and serving his country. Wendy continues to insist she did not kill Michael, claiming she only concealed his body. But the physical evidence tells a different story. The veterinary drugs in his system, the internet searches about decomposition, the GPS records showing her repeated visits to the ranch, and the elaborate effort to hide his remains formed the foundation of the case against her. Michael had spent his military career proving he would never abandon his duty. The person who tried to convince investigators he had deserted unintentionally brought the very investigators who solved his murder.